Welcome to the Private Property Podcast, where we provide valuable knowledge and information on all things property related. Whether you're a first time home buyer, a seasoned investor, or just looking for some expert advice, we've got you covered. So tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for tips, insights, and advice on burning topics related to property. Because this podcast is brought to you by Private Property. Tonight's episode will focus on property investment opportunities, particularly for individuals with limited access to resources, but who are interested, we all are, in entering the property market. Joining us in studio is Cornelius, the managing director for 4 Green Houses. Cornelius, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Kay.
It's so good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
You look as good as you look on your pictures. When I saw his pictures on Instagram, I was just like, okay, Mr. Cornelius. So
thank you very much.
Really, really glad to have you in studio. I'm so glad to have you sitting next to me. It's such an honor. It's so great. And I'm not blowing your own trumpet, but I'm just literally just telling you how good it is to sit next to a legend like this.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So, okay, let's just delve straight into it. So there's a lot of social media hype about property investment. People have different opinions about property investment. There's an expert everywhere, about property. And I think the first question would be then, what would you advise to be the big motivation behind the big why in property investment?
Fantastic. I love that question. Kay, the big why.
Yeah.
This is different for everybody.
Yeah.
First of all, before you start going out and buying properties, understand first, why are you doing this? If you're the kind of guy who wants to be able to say at the braai, I own 6 properties. If that's your why, by all means.
Sure.
But if your why is you want to create wealth for you and your family, you want to leave a legacy for your children, you want to retire early, then you need to understand, then you need to go a bit deeper. What is that why? And let me explain that to you. Our big why is different for everyone. There's not a one size fits all as to why we are investing in property. Let me explain 2 total extremes to you. On the one end, you've got the guy who wants to own 6 cars, live in a mansion, go on 3 overseas holidays a year, have his children go to any university anywhere in the world. That's his why. Okay. That is fine. That is fine. Now he knows, he's got clarity as to why he wants to create wealth through property. On the total extreme end, you've got the guy who wants to, at 60, just go back to his rural village, count his sheep, feed the chickens. And that is fine too. If he wants to go to his rural village and never have to worry about money again, then that is his why.
And it's okay.
And it's okay. We all have our own why as to why we want to invest in property. But the big thing is, be clear, because your why leads you to your financial freedom number.
Sure. So in essence, don't let your big why be someone else's why. So don't just hop into someone else's view of investment in property.
Exactly, because because someone else wants R1 million from property every month doesn't mean that's your dream and your vision for yourself. Just be clear on what your own dream and your own vision is.
Sure. Okay, that's food for thought. I think with that question, we can just go to the second question. In terms of property investment, I think the mistake that people now do is the assumption of an investment. So my question would be, would you and how then would property investment be a vehicle to sustainable investment?
Okay, so we need to understand property investment is a medium to long-term strategy. If you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, property investment is not for you. In fact, if anyone comes to you and say, listen, I've got a get-rich-quick scheme for you, then you run as far as you can, okay, because you're going to be scammed. Property investment is medium to long term. What I mean by that, one property is not going to make you rich. 2 properties is not going to make you rich. 4 properties are not going to make you rich. Okay? You need to have a growth strategy in place. You need to know, okay, by the next 5 to 10 years or 7 to 12 years, whatever it might take for you to get to your financial freedom number, that is your plan, and you need to put a growth strategy in place to achieve that.
Okay. And which 2 elements are crucial from the start in investment?
So when you grow in property, okay, there's 2 very, very important things that you need to consider with every property investment deal.
Okay.
Number 1, the property must be cash flow positive from day 1.
Okay.
And number 2, there's got to be equity in the deal from day 1. So let me explain these 2 concepts.
Yes.
And
I was about to ask. Hold on, a big term. Okay.
Firstly, cash is king. Okay. And what do I mean with cash flow positive from day 1? Once you get your rent from your tenant, and you've subtracted your operating expenses like rates and taxes, maintenance, insurance, levies, etc., and you've subtracted your bond repayment, then you've got to be left with money. You cannot be paying in every month. You've got to be left with money, and that is what I mean is you've got to be cash flow positive from day 1.
So something to show for it.
Something to show for it. And not just any amount, at least 10% over a period of a year on the cash invested. In other words, if your bond and transfer fees and your deposit, etc., I'm just making an example, came to 100,000 rand, then over a period of a year, you must make a positive cash flow of at least a minimum of 10,000 rand.
All I'm hearing is numbers don't lie. You're giving me numbers. And I think what I'm taking is that it's really crucial for you to sit down and see if, quote unquote, quality versus quantity.
Absolutely.
You can have one property that is really yielding returns as opposed to having 5 properties that are literally an expense and not an investment. That's really what I'm taking with. And I think I'll also just ask a question that I also see roaming around social media, and a part of the questions and the advices as well. People are being advised and told that they need to pay 500 more on their bonds, or 200 more, chip in a bit more. It makes a difference. In your experience and in profession, would you see that as a door to proper investment, or having a return on investment a bit more quicker?
Here's the thing. Again, your why and clarity is so important. You need to understand, why are you buying that property? Because if you're buying the property as a primary residence, in other words, you're going to be staying in that property, by all means, pay that bond off as fast as you can.
Okay. So there's a difference. Okay.
But if you're buying the property for investment purposes, you don't want to put too much money in that bond too early. Okay? Because remember, all your money, all the money that you have access to, in other words, your savings, your any lump sums that come into your life, like bonuses or whatever the case may be, or a rental income, all that money you want to put in a savings kitty towards the upfront cash for your next property. Okay, and only when you reach your financial freedom number, your that asset amount, then you can look at start paying off those properties.
Okay. I'm sure there is one person that is sitting there and saying, Kay and Cornelius, I hear you. I'm hearing these big terms, but look, I don't have much but I really want to invest in property. What would be the easiest, quote unquote, way for me to just have my foot in property investment? Would I go, is it best for me to do partnerships with other people so that I can just get my foot in and have sustainable property investment? What should I do? I'm a young professional individual that is getting 18,000 per month, but I really want to invest in property. What can I do?
To answer that question two ways.
Yes.
Firstly, this thing of you don't need money to invest in property, okay, that is unfortunately a myth.
Okay.
Okay, you need
Okay.
you need
Sure.
money to invest in property.
Yes.
Okay, you need bond and transfer fees.
Yes.
You need a deposit. Okay.
Yeah.
Depending on your strategy, you need refurbishment costs.
Sure.
You need holding costs while you're refurbishing. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's so many people out there that says you don't need money to invest in property, but because here's my version of investing in property
Yes.
is growing assets.
Sure. Okay.
And if you want to grow assets, you have to invest in there is going to be upfront cash required. Now, the second part of this question, okay? There's three ways how people can invest in property. The first way is through as on your own. You can go out there, invest in property on your own. 100% of the profits that you're going to be making will go directly into your pocket. But here's the thing, if you want to invest on your own, you're going to need time to go out there and look for deals. You're going to have to negotiate these deals.
Yeah.
Deals are not around every single corner.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to have the know-how to run proper feasibility studies and do due diligence. You're going to have to deal with tenants. So if you can't tick these boxes, then going out and investing on your own is probably not a good idea, because you're going to pay very expensive school fees for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The second way of investing in property is through something called real estate investment trusts, also called REITs. Okay. Now, if I can explain it in layman's terms, it's basically a basket of commercial properties, and you purchase shares on the stock exchange. Okay, that's what a real estate investment.
That's expensive advice. That's not the casual advice I'm seeing on social media. Okay, thank you for that. Okay.
But here's the thing. So you need to have clarity about REITs, okay? Because firstly, yes, you can be a passive investor. You don't need to go out and look for everything. You literally just give money every month.
Yeah.
You put deposits and you buy your shares in these commercial properties. But you don't get to leverage the bank's money with a REIT.
Okay.
In other words, if you want to buy a R1 million property, okay, you put a 200,000 rand deposit, and the bank will give you a home loan for 800,000 rand.
Sure. Okay.
With a REIT, you can't go and say, please, can I have a 800,000 rand loan? I want to buy shares in this property.
Yeah.
No one will give you that loan. So you with a REIT, you can't leverage.
Yes.
If you want to buy R1 million worth of shares,
Yes.
it's got to be R1 million out of your pocket.
Okay.
So it's going to take you much longer.
Yes.
Then this is where I want to get to.
Yes.
Okay. I've taken a long turn, but this is where I want to
perfect because you're really educating us. Yeah.
The best way to get into property investment for anyone out there is through joint ventures.
Sure.
What are joint ventures? Okay. Joint ventures is where two or more parties come together with their respective resources to achieve a common goal. And in this instance, that common goal is to create wealth through property. What do I mean? In a joint venture, okay, let's say you come with cash.
Yes.
You can enter into a joint venture with someone who's got the experience, who's got the expertise,
Sure.
who know how to run feasibility studies,
Yes,
who
yes.
know how to buy below market value properties, who can do the due diligence, okay,
Yes.
so that you minimize your risk.
Yes.
You can also, let's say, for instance, the upfront cash for a property is R1 million. Let's say it's a multi-let,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of refurbishments.
Yes.
There's R1 million required upfront cash. It's hugely unlikely that one person will have R1 million to put towards upfront cash.
Of course,
So
yeah.
now you can come into a joint venture with 4 other people, and the
Yes.
5 of you can each put 200,000
Yes.
into the deal to
Sure.
make that deal happen. Okay, so that's why I'm saying you are spreading the risk. You are minimizing the risk by getting in joint venture partners who have done it before.
Yes.
And you know, there's this old African proverb that says, on your own you can go fast.
Yes. Yeah.
But together you can go far.
further. Yes. Oh man. Okay. Wow. Okay. I hope you have that in your notes. I think as we wrap this up, my last thing, I mean, we talked about the big why. We talked about, in essence, the right mindset, and when entering into this market. But because there's just this hype as well of people really investing in property now, and these uncertain times that we're living in, an offer to purchase can either break or make your deal. And the last question that I'd ask would be then, the individuals, professionals that are paying 50,000 upfront to say it's a deposit because they want to decrease their chances of losing out in the property. They want to see the investment. Would you yes that or no to that for them to actually pop out 50 or 100K to pay lesser on the property? Or would you say, don't rush it, take your time, there's an offer to purchase, this is what the property is going for, it's 800K, put a 750K offer in place and just pay for the bond as is?
Okay, I would always say it's good to put a deposit on a property.
Okay.
For a number of reasons.
Okay.
Firstly, the seller can see you're
Okay.
serious.
Okay.
Secondly, the bank who's giving you the loan
Yes.
can see you're serious. You've got skin in the game.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And thirdly, a deposit can really protect your asset, your
Sure.
investment in down times.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to over leverage your asset.
Yeah.
In other words, if you go for 100% bond,
Yes.
now you owe 100% of that bond. If this interest rate goes up the way it's been going up in recent months,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
you are going to be in trouble.
Sure, okay.
And if you put a deposit down,
Yes.
you minimize your risk of paying too much for that property. Number one.
Sure, yeah.
Number two, together with the deposit, you want to make sure you buy the property below market value. If it's not below market value, it's not an investment. That is
Sure.
what I want to leave people with.
Can you repeat that again on the camera? If it's not?
If the property is not purchased below market value,
Sure.
it's not an investment. Don't buy anything at retail price. Investments need to be purchased below market value.
Sure. I think that is it from us. Thank you so much. You really challenged how I view property as well, and how I would advise my clients as well. I just need to go back and do my research a bit more, because with property, I always say you can never get to a place where you think you know everything and you know more. It's best to sit with professionals like yourself and take from them and just run with it. So thank you so much. I really hope to see you again.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I would love to be back here, and I'm truly humbled by being invited on your show. Thank
okay.
you.
And thank you for joining us today. We hope tonight's topic was helpful and insightful. For more information, you can click on the link below or in the description. Don't forget to share your thoughts on today's show by using the hashtag Find Your New Home on privateproperty.co.za and hashtag the Private Property Podcast on all social media platforms. Remember, this is the last reminder. You can find your new home on privateproperty.co.za. Good night.